Hello. Good afternoon. I hope you are having a good day. I had a great day. I am still off of work this week, so it's almost a good day by default. And we get to do some more Drumeo stuff, so that's really fun. We're in section 3.1, which is another theory section. Um, Last time we were in this section, hey Alpha, how's it going? Last time we were in this section, it was a lot of things about triplets. So as you can see, there are like 3 lessons on triplets. Now we're going to start getting into some of the more subtle stuff, like dynamic, which is basically how loud you hit. I'm not sure how you can define articulations. We'll find out. Of course, accents, we know those are notes that are just louder than the other one. Ghost notes, opposite. Yeah. Grace notes, I kind of associate them with flams, but maybe he'll have them in some other context. Crescendos and decrescendos. I know this applies to a lot, but the first thing I think of is that kind of thing. Then we got rolls. This could mean so many things. It could mean like drum rolls. It could mean like a double stroke, single stroke. So, it can mean, I don't know what he can talk about there. It can mean a lot. And I'm not entirely sure what he can talk about in repeats, but we'll find out.
In this lesson, I want to introduce you to dynamics and articulation. Now,
Hydrate.
up until this point, you've been learning tons of new vocabulary, which is all about what you're playing on the drums. Now, we're going to talk about how we are playing the drums, and that is done through dynamics and articulation and other markings. So let's start with dynamics. Now, by definition, dynamics refers to the variation in loudness between notes or phrases. To put it simply, it's just a measurement of volume, how loud or how soft we're playing the drums. Now, the thing about dynamics is there's no real way to measure it. It's all relative to what's going on around you. If a guitarist is screaming in your ear and you're playing as loud as you can, it might actually sound normal. The dynamic level might be fine. But if you're at a singer-songwriter gig at a coffee shop and there's an acoustic guitar playing and you're just mashing on the drums, your dynamic level in comparison to what's going on around you might be very high. So it's very important to use your ears and to make decisions that are relative to the music that you're playing. Now, there are 2 main ways that dynamics can be indicated on sheet music. One is through dynamic markings, which tell you to play a certain volume. We'll talk about this more in level 5, so don't worry about that right now. And the second is through symbols that indicate changes in dynamics, like a crescendo or a decrescendo, which we're going to talk about later in this section as well. We can also use articulations to further express our ideas on the drums that change the sounds that we're playing. Now, what are articulations? Basically, on sheet music, they're things that aren't notes. They're brackets around a note or a little marking that will change how you approach that note, not where you play it or when you play it.
I see.
Now, the 3 main articulations we're going to be focusing on this level are accents, grace notes, and ghost notes. All terms you've probably heard before, but I'm going to show you what they look like on paper here. Now, going back to the analogy of language, which we have talked about a few times in this method already. If you were to have a conversation with someone and speak in a monotone voice with no expression, no dips, no valleys, it would be pretty boring to listen to. You might think it sounds like a robot. Now, the same goes for our drumming. We can actually use articulations and changes in volumes and accents and ghost notes to really shape how our grooves and fills sounds to bring them to life. Let me give you an example that I'm talking about. I'm going to play a very basic beat here, all with the same volume, no intensity. Tell me how it sounds in the comments.
Sounds normal, you know, kind of stock, I guess.
Okay, to me that sounded very boring. It sounded like a drum machine. Now, if I were to put some life into it, really accent some parts, whether it's the bass drum or the backbeat or some of the hi-hat inflections, it would sound so much different. Here's the same beat with some dynamics into it. So to me, that groove sounded way better. It had some life to it. It made me want to bob my head. It had some peaks and valleys, and it was much different than the monotone, straight-ahead drum machine version. And that's a very important thing to recognize, because it's not always about what you're playing on the drums, it's about how you're playing it. There's so many drum beats out there that I'm sure you can replicate, I can replicate, other drummers can replicate, but can they make them groove? Can they make them feel as good as the drummers who originally played them? So in the next few videos of the theory section, I'm going to be going over a few different articulations that you can add to your playing that you'll be seeing frequently throughout the rest of this Drumeo method. Now, there's no assignment for this lesson, only to understand that dynamics and articulations are important, and they're something that you're going to want to understand and learn. With that being said, I'll see you in the next lesson where we'll talk about accents.
All right, so this was basically him talking about what he's going to do for the next few lessons, I see. Accents, okay. Yeah, accents are really, really useful. I can do accents. Of course, I can always get better at, you know, being able to place them where I want to in, you know, fast rolls and whatnot. That's something I could get better at. But I do know how to read and do accents.
So while we're on the topic,
I did not mean to do that.
Topic of articulation and dynamics, I want to talk about accents. Now, accents are something you probably already played before in your drumming or in your practice, and you've seen a lot of other drummers play it, and they're just basically notes that are accented or are brought up in your playing, something that sticks out within the groove. Now, what do accents look like on paper? Because that's what we want to know. We want to know what they look like so you can be aware of them. Well, accents look like this. They have a little bracket above the note, and it just tells you to play that note a little bit louder. Okay, so the next time you see a piece of sheet music and you see one of these notes, this is an articulation to a note, and it's called an accent. Now, you're going to see accents all throughout the Drumeo method, whether it's John Wooten's rudiment lessons, whether it's a new style, some new grooves and fills that you're practicing. There's even a section in the method called dynamic independence, where you're going to be working on the independence of playing accents and quieter notes or ghost notes or regular sounding notes, I guess you can call them. Now, in the technique section, Bruce Becker is going to talk about some motions of drumming, which is going to be all about how to actually approach playing an accent. In this lesson, though, all I want to do is make you aware of what they look like and go through a few exercises so you can see what they sound like within context. So with that being said, let's go through a few exercises just so you can become aware of what accents look like on paper and how they sound. The first exercise is just a bar of quarter notes all accented. Notice the little triangle, the little sideways bracket above the note. That's what an accent looks like. So let's play 4 quarter notes on the snare, extra loud at 90 beats per minute.
Extra loud,
super
my
easy.
favorite
Let's give it a
kind.
shot. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, pretty simple. Let's go to the next exercise where we're going to have, again, another bar of quarter notes. However, only the 2 and the 4 have accents on them. And this is where we can really start practicing what an accent is, because now we have other notes that we can reference to. So what we're going to focus on here is the dynamic difference between the unaccented note and the accented note. If you can't play the drum any louder when you're playing your accents and you're playing as loud as you possibly can, but you still don't hear a difference in dynamic level, well, you don't always have to play accents louder. You can bring the other notes around the accents down in volume. Again, it's all about the difference between your regular notes or your ghost notes and your accents.
It's all relative.
Let's give number 2 a try at 90 beats per minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you might notice I only played that with my right hand. Again, that's not important. You can play it all with your left hand. You can alternate. What is important though is that you focus on the dynamic difference between the unaccented notes and the accented notes. Let's try another exercise. Here we have 8 notes. The first 4 8 notes are unaccented. The second 4 8 notes are accented. Let's give this one a try at 80 beats per minute.
We can do this. I believe in us.
Keep aware of my stick heights. Notice how when I'm playing the unaccented notes, my sticks are quite low, and when I'm playing the accented notes, they're raising up quite a bit higher. Again, Bruce Becker is going to talk more about that in the next section. All right, exercise number 4 is actually a rudiment. It's the paradiddle. Right? We're going to play right, left, right, right, left, right,
I know how to do a paradiddle.
But the quarter notes are all accented. So it's going to be the first strike of the paradiddle with your right hand. That's going to be accented. And then the second strike with...
When I first learned the paradiddle pattern, I didn't realize at first how important the accent was for that pattern. And it made it sound really, really flat. But once somebody corrected me on that, I started to be able to hear the dynamics in it, and it sounds a lot better when I do it now.
Your left hand on that second quarter note, that's going to be accented as well. Let's play it at 80 beats per minute together. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, it's going really fast.
So for the last exercise, we're actually going to be playing a beat, and this is where accents really shine. We're going to play a simple 2/4 groove, something you've all already played before, but this time we're going to really focus on emphasizing that 2 and 4, or the backbeat. Now a lot of drummers do this naturally already, which is good because in rock, the backbeat really needs to stand out. So with this exercise, let's focus on making sure that snare really cracks. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so there you have it. Accents. It's a pretty simple concept. The important part of this lesson is to make sure you know what they look like and you're aware of them when they show up on sheet music. Like I said, you're going to see accents now throughout the entire method, be it on rudiments, be it on exercises, be it on grooves and fills and whatever. So you need to be aware of how they look and how they sound. Your assignment for this lesson is to go through the 5 examples we just did, really make sure those accents are popping and standing out, and if you want, there's 5 additional challenges for you, which are optional, but I really recommend you do them. In the next lesson, we're going to talk about ghost notes. See you there.
David's really good at explaining stuff, isn't he? All right, let's take a look at the exercises that he was referencing. Okay, so the first 5 are the ones that he did in the video. So I'm going to start at number 6. Okay, so these are more snare patterns. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Actually, no, I'm going to do it with hi-hat. My snare came loose. I'll have to see if Denali is also getting that and then maybe do some research on it. I'm not sure if it's just you or not. All right, so that was number 6. Number 7. 7. That one's pretty easy. All right. Number 8. Okay. Oh, I'm going to have to do this one slower. That's hard to do. That's hard to do at speed. The audio is not good. Okay. I am not quite sure how to fix this. So, let me see. I can turn up volume if volume is the problem. But okay, so what kind of issues are you having with the yeah, I don't know if it's a bandwidth issue on your side or if it's a bitrate issue on my side or what. That's what I'm not really sure of. Possibly. Does it give you an option to lower the stream quality to a lower resolution? Maybe that'll help. I don't know. I've never watched Twitch on mobile, so I'm not sure. Okay, so it's just me you can't hear? Okay. That is something I should be able to fix. Can you hear me better now? Or is it still low for you? Interesting. I've got the mic part turned up all the way. Maybe I need to turn the gain up a little bit. Okay. I turned the gain up a little bit. Hopefully it doesn't pick up the cymbals. We'll see. But I should hear that in my headphones if it does. All right, let's give number 9 a try. And I'm definitely going to practice. Actually, you know what? Hold on one sec. You know, I thought it would just let me download it, but I'll download it on my PC and upload it to the file cloud or whatever. All right, number 9. AdSense on the 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and. Okay, yeah. Or 1. Yeah, I see how it's going to go. Okay. So the patterns are really the exact same thing. They just start in different places in the measure, as far as where the accents are. I'm going to get this. What's hard about this is that if I'm doing alternating hands, then the first accent on the doubles is starting with my left hand, and that's messing me up a little bit. This is really, this one, number 9, is really messing me up a little bit. Yeah, it's really messing me up. Part of it is I'm making it a little bit more difficult by trying to keep time with my left foot, which is something I've been trying to get better at because it's one of my weak spots. So I'm going to try to slow it down a little bit so I can try to incorporate that. See, it keeps switching from syncing up with my right hand to syncing up with my left hand. And that's what's messing me up here. You know, maybe instead of doing it 8th notes on the foot, I'll do quarter notes. Another reason I wanted to include my left foot in the hi-hat is because the location of these accents is entirely relative. So like 8 and 9 are the exact same thing. They just are different places relative to other instruments in the groove. So I wanted to have that relationship there as well. Okay. I'm going to give just a couple more goes at number 9, then we'll move on to number 10. Okay. I think that's okay. Okay, number 10. Let's give number 10 a go. This one should be really easy compared to number 9. Simple enough. Ghost notes. I use these all the time in my grooves. Like.
All right, in this lesson, I want to talk about ghost notes, and more importantly, what they are and how they look on paper. Later on in the level, you're going to get lessons that really focus on the technique of playing ghost notes correctly and to really make sure they feel good in your grooves. Now, to me, ghost notes are the most important note a drummer can really practice and get good at. They can completely change the feel of a groove and can make or break your playing. In fact, a lot of the beats that you'll hear these professionals play are hard to play because of the ghost notes and the little inflections they do. So let's talk about what a ghost note is. A ghost note is a very, very quiet note played on the drums. It's called ghost note because it shouldn't be heard, it should be felt, just like a ghost, I guess. The idea behind it is to play so subtle that it still creates that rhythmic texture, but it doesn't stand out or take away from everything else that's going around in the groove. Now, what does a ghost note look like? Well, on sheet music, a ghost note is a note with brackets around it. It's almost like it's there, but it's not there. If you think about what parentheses are in the spoken language, it's like an afterthought or something that you would think about that's not supposed to be spoken. And that's exactly why we put a bracket around the note when we're notating it. So without further ado, let's get into some exercises. We're not focusing so much on technique. That's going to be talked about later. I just want to make you aware of what ghost notes are and show you what they look like on paper. So the first exercise is simple 8 notes, all on the snare drum, played with a low dynamic level, a low volume. You're going to notice every 8th note has a bracket around it, which tells you to play it quietly. Let's give this one a try. 1, 2, 3, 4.
This is something that jazz drummers are really good at.
Did you do it? Did you play it quiet? That's the goal. Let's move on to the next exercise where we're going to include ghost notes and unghosted notes so you can really hear the dynamic difference there. Again, if your ghost notes can't be played any quieter, just play your other notes around there louder. That will imply a greater dynamic difference even if you're not playing your ghost notes.
I like it when the answer is played louder.
Let's give this one a try. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, the next exercise, very common. You might have already been doing this already on the drums, but we're playing 16th notes, and every quarter note is going to be a regular note. All the rest of the 16th notes are going to be ghosted, all right? So your right hand is going to be the only hand that's playing loud. Let's give this one a try. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, the next exercise is actually a very common beat. You might have played it already, but we're going to use a ghost note right before the 3 count on the ah of 2. The important thing with this exercise is to make sure that ghost note is very, very quiet. You still want to hear it, but very, very subtly. It's got to be a complete difference to the backbeat on the 2 and the 4. Let's try this one at 70 beats per minute. All right, for the last exercise, we're going to play an 8th note beat. We're going to play a ghost note on the and of 1 and the and of 3,
possibly going to lead
right before the backbeat. Now, what makes this one tough is that you're still playing 8 notes on top of that ghost note.
And
it's very easy to forget that there has to be a dynamic difference and a velocity difference between your right and left hand, because you don't want to play your hi-hat quiet. It's just the snare drum you want to play quiet. Okay, give this one a try and really focus on the dynamic difference between your backbeat and your ghost note right before it. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there you have it, 5 common examples.
I'm going to spend a moment on this one. Okay, I think I got it. I think I got it. All right, let's see if they have any other ones that we should practice. All right, so just like last time, we get to start on number 6. All right, number 7 might be a little trickier here. I could do it that way. It's a lot easier than doing it left-right. Okay, never mind. Maybe it's not. It's hard to add in the left foot. A lot pretty difficult. I keep wanting to do it in sets of 3 instead of sets of 4. That makes it a lot more difficult. I'll have to practice that one some more later. Pretty simple. Next one's pretty simple too. It's hard to do at a faster speed, that's for sure.
All right, let's talk about grace notes in this lesson, and mainly what they look like on paper and how they apply to the drum set. In the next section with John Wooten, you're going to learn a new rudiment called the flam and a new rudiment called the drag that are going to use grace notes, so it's important that you know what they are. So a grace note is basically a note that sets up or is in front of another note. Now they're played so closely together that it almost thickens the actual note that you're wanting to play, more so than sounding like two separate notes. Now a grace note looks very small on paper. It actually looks like a miniature note that you would see on a normal piece of sheet music. However, it's much smaller and it's usually right before another note. Here is an example of a flam stroke, which you're going to be learning in the next section. And you'll notice that the note is almost touching, very close to the other note. Now in this example, which is a flam, I'm going to show you what it sounds like. Now John Wooten's going to teach you what a flam is, but just so you can hear what a grace note does to set up another note, here we go. This is a flam. So you notice that there's only one sound. Well, it almost sounds like there's only one note, but if you really, really break it down, there's actually two notes being played there, and that's because I'm playing a grace note right before my other note. Now, a grace note just doesn't have to be one note. It can actually be two notes. If you look at this example, this is a drag rudiment, which again, John Wooten's going to talk about, but notice how there's two notes right in front of the actual note. Very small, and they're grouped together. Here's what this sounds like if I were to play it. I played two quick notes right before the other note. Those were grace notes. Now with grace notes, you're going to see some discrepancy on different books and pages of notation with how they actually look. And they're all right. Sometimes you might see a little note with a slash through it. Sometimes you'll see a little note with a tie into the next note, like this. And sometimes you'll see both, a little note with a slash and a tie through it. Now, I'm not going to get into the specifics of why there's different ways to notate and to display a grace note. That all relates to melodic instruments and other theory related to music. But on the drum set, it really doesn't matter. So if you see a grace note with a slash in it, or without a slash in it, or with a tie in it, they all basically represent the same thing. So within Drumeo, you're going to notice most of our grace notes for flams and for drags, they don't have any slashes through them or ties, but that's just our method of doing things. You might see it differently in other books. Another thing I'm going to mention is that the note value for a grace note really doesn't matter. When we put two together, we generally notate them as 16th notes, but the spacing between the actual note and the grace note, or the grace note and the actual note, really can be up to interpretation. A flam can be played with a lot of space in between it, or they can be played very, very close. So like a lot of things in music, interpretation is key, and as your ear develops, you'll start to get a better understanding as to how to approach grace notes. But I'm going to leave that to John Wooten to explain. I think you get the idea. You know what grace notes are now. There's no assignments for this lesson. I just wanted to make you aware of what they are, how they look like, and how they apply to the drums. I'll see you in the next lesson.
Drags are something I've actually been specifically working on. Actually, the thing that he just showed. Let's see, how long is this next section? 7 minutes? You know, we'll save that for next time because I want to play a little bit of music. So, give me 1 sec to switch to my other app. Now, I don't know if Alpha is still around, but he tossed me a song on Discord earlier. I don't know this song. I know of the band AWOL Nation. I don't know any of their music, though. So this is going to be new for me. So I'll get playing. I'll start playing the song. I'm going to try to listen to something to hook onto and then join in. How'd I do? I hope I did the song justice for you. For my first time hearing it. Time to hydrate. Take a drink of water. Yeah, I knew what you meant. I've got so many songs on here now that it's giving me a indecision when I go to try to pick something to play. I wish I had like a random option, but they don't have that on here. I'm gonna have to listen to the original alpha after I get off stream and see how it compares to what I actually did.
Just take those old records off the shelf. I sit and listen to them by myself. Today's music ain't got the same.
I did try it.
I like that old time rock and roll. Don't try to take me to a disco. You'll never even get me out on the floor. In 10 minutes I'll be late for the door. I like that old time rock and roll. Still like that old time rock and roll. That kind of music just soothes the soul. I reminisce about the days of old with that old time rock and roll. Won't go to hear 'em play a tango.
Did I forget to mute the original drums?
Blues and funky old soul. There's only one sure way to get me to go. Stop playing old time rock and roll. Call me a relic, call me what you will. Say I'm old fashioned, say I'm over the hill. Today's music ain't got the same soul. I like that old time rock and roll. Still like that old time rock and roll. That kind of music just soothes the soul. I reminisce about the days of old with that old time rock and roll. Still like that old time rock and roll. That kind of music just soothes the soul. I reminisce about the days of old with that old time rock and roll. Still like that old time rock and roll. That kind of music just soothes the soul. I reminisce about the days of old
I did forget it.
with that old time rock and roll. Still like that old time rock and roll. That kind of music just soothes the soul. I reminisce about the days of old with that old time rock and roll. Still like that old time rock and roll.
That was weird. I didn't realize that I forgot to mute the regular drums, and it threw me off. Stay hydrated. Take a drink of water. Awesome. I'm glad that he likes them. I'm in my element there. favorite songs to play along to. Great workout too. All right, I'm gonna do a cool down song and then we'll end the stream.
Kiss me out of the bearded barley nightly, beside the green, green grass. Swing, swing,
From Robin Hood.
swing the spinning step. You wear those shoes and I will wear that dress. Oh, kiss me beneath the milky twilight. Lead me out on the moonlit floor. Lift your open hand, strike up the band and make the fireflies dance. Silver moon sparkling, so kiss me. Kiss me down by the broken tree house. Swing me upon its hanging tide. Bring your flowered hat. We'll take the trail marked on your father's map. Oh, kiss me beneath the milky twilight. Lead me out on the moonlit floor. Lift your open head, strike up the band and make the fireflies dance. Silver moon sparkling, so kiss me. Kiss me beneath the milky twilight. Lead me out on the moonlit floor. Lift your open head, drag up the band.
I dragged.
Fireflies dance, silver moon sparkling. So kiss me. So kiss me. So kiss me. So kiss me.
Alpha, rate my ghost notes in that song. Yeah, it is a classic, and to me, it's always going to be that song from the animated Disney version of Robin Hood. I don't know why that particular Disney movie stands out in my memory so much, but it's one of the ones that does. But I appreciate y'all hanging out with me while I do some Drumeo stuff and then play some songs for you. I had a fun time, and I know I'll see at least one of you tomorrow. It's so there's a scene in the movie where I don't remember the characters' names, or I guess I do. It's Robin Hood and Mary Ann. They're they have a midnight dance in the forest. But anyway, yeah. So just remember that drums are hard, music is hard. Be kind to yourself and go practice. Have a good evening and come back on Friday at 6 for more Drumeo.